During the Korean War, the United States was the first United Nations member to dispatch large numbers of armed forces consisting of the Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marine Corps. In accordance with UN resolutions, the U.S. established the United Nations Command in Korea and continued to take a leading role throughout the war. The U.S. Navy and Air Force officially joined in the war on June 27, 1950, when the UN Security Council adopted a resolution that called for the immediate cessation of hostilities and the withdrawal of North Korean armed forces to the north side of the 38th parallel. The first combat unit of the American ground troops was Task Force Smith. It belonged to the 24th Infantry Division, which had been stationed in Japan. With deployment of Task Force Smith in Busan, the U.S. Army started participation in the Korean War. During the war, U.S. ground forces were organized under the 8th U.S. Army headquarters and divided into 3 corps which controlled 7 infantry divisions, 1 cavalry division, 1 marine division, 2 regiment combat teams, and other support units. The U.S. naval forces in the Far East committed the 7th Fleet to the Korean War. The U.S. Navy assisted both naval and ground operations with the 90th and 95th Task Forces, and the Naval Air Combat Unit helped air operations. The U.S. Air Forces and the Far East Command, which had been stationed in Okinawa, Japan, and the Philippines, also played a vital role during the war. Around 20 wings, consisting of 77 squadrons, were assigned to the major combat operations. The U.S. forces fought bravely against North Korean forces in battles including Osan, Daejeon, Yongsan, Incheon Landing and Seoul Liberation Operations, and Pyongyang Capture Operation, and the Sukchan-Suncheon Airborne Operation. Also, the U.S. troops fought heroically against both North Korean and Chinese Communist forces in such regions as Gunuri, Jeongjin Reservoir Jipyongri, and other locations near the current DMZ. After the armistice agreement was signed on July 27, 1953, the U.S. Navy and Air Forces reassigned to Far Eastern bases, and its ground forces withdrew gradually starting in January 1954. Now, only some remain under the mission of the UN Command. In the Korean War, the U.S. committed more than 1,789,000 participants into combat, and 33,642 American servicemen gave their lives for freedom and peace in Korea.